let's go to stock of the week. Then now Easter. First of all, Easter needs to apologize to our viewers about Car in general, because what went down this week, Bonnie?
Worst performer this week.
Easter, apologize.
Why? I don't get why I should
apologize. You told them to put their money on Car in general. Apologize.
So now the whole thing is being put onto me.
Apologize.
I barely knew the stock. I barely knew the counter when we were analyzing it. But yeah, again, I pull out the card of we are not licensed financial advisors.
If you're looking for financial advice,
nasiati tunawaruka. It's just
no. I mean, but at the end of the day, I think it closed at around 50 something.
Car in general at the end of this week.
Yeah.
It was down 21%.
It was down 27 actually.
27%.
Yeah.
Week on week.
When we were discussing it as our stock of the week, it was at around 36 Kenyan shillings.
Yeah.
It had just come from 31, and all of the three of us gave it a buy outlook. It went up to the the north of 60s. It was, I think, at around 73. And according to our recommendations,
and you took all the credits.
That was the time you should have exited.
You took all the credit.
That was the time you should have exited. But
it closed this week at 68.
At 68, which is still a good time to exit, considering the time that we told you guys to buy.
But for somebody who's coming in, is it a good time to come in?
No.
For someone, just wait. I'll say wait. Hold your horses.
Yeah.
So our stock of the week this week is Limuru Tea PLC.
Yeah.
So Limuru Tea, I think, has a long history, but I think it was incorporated in 1967.
Yeah.
Limuru Tea, what they do, as their name goes, they are tea growers. They grow tea in a region known as Limuru here in Kenya. You know,
Kericho regions, huko.
They actually have around 242 hectares.
282.
And I have an issue with
hectares of land. We will get into that. In the east part of Limuru, which is not far from Nairobi.
Yeah.
And as the tea growers, I think their counter on 28th of Friday, January, closed at around 320 Kenya shillings. So this is not so active counter, compared to others, as we've always discussed here at the exchange. So interesting things about this is that 11 days ago, they announced a profit warning and said that their profits will go down by approximately 25%. And they attributed different things, a bit to the pandemic, as everyone does.
So everyone's like, excuse me, it's a
and then
scapegoat.
also the prices of tea going down, which we'll get into the prices of tea. And just for our viewers and listeners to note, this is not the first time we are getting a profit warning.
I think
they
also issued
same year time like this.
Same year
they
time.
issued
So this is
another
the second
profit
one?
warning. So this is a
2
second
years.
profit
2
warning.
years in a row.
2 years in a row. But then if you look at 2019, they actually made a profit. But
Not so much.
Not so much. I think it was around 3 million. Yeah.
3 million, yeah.
If we look at the half year region, for half year,
You
of
said 8.5.
8.5 million loss of half year 2021.
Okay.
But this was much better because in 2020, same year, it was around 11 million.
But it's almost equivalent to what they made for the full year 2020.
Yeah.
To me, the second half they did so badly.
Full year 2020 was 7.9 million.
Yeah.
Pre-tax loss.
Yeah.
So almost equivalent to
The half year.
the half year.
6%.
Pre-tax loss. Yeah.
Yeah, that means that
The second half.
it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So this of course is an interesting counter. I mean, I was looking at the end of year December 2020, their turnover was up by 6%, but then the prices went down.
Still single digit.
Still single digit. Now you find that the reason why these two profit warnings have come in the now
Two
consecutive years is because of tea prices going down. Okay, so you know what the Saudis and Kuwait are to oil, that's what we are to tea.
Yeah.
Okay,
export market.
market. And so that means when we overproduce, what will happen? the prices of tea will definitely go down. Just as it's done for oil, okay? That's why OPEC, they sometimes wanakaza nati when it comes to releasing the produce to the market.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I attended the Iran-Kenya Business Forum in Naivasha.
How many places have you been this week again?
I've been a
Do you have a
busy man.
chopper?
I've been a busy man. KRA is monitoring. So now in the forum, you know that Iran is one of the biggest buyers of Kenyan tea.
Yeah.
They actually consume 20% of the tea that we produce here in Kenya. Now the thing is that you find. So I was having a conversation with a gentleman from KTDA, and the gentleman was telling me that if you look at the curve in the previous years, from around 2015 to date, every year you find that if you look at that curve generally for that period, the production, Kenya has increased its production of tea. Okay, in 2021, I think it closed at around 600 million. 600 million, I think 600 million kilos.
Okay.
Yeah, of tea. In 2019, it was around 459. In 2020, we moved to 570 million kgs of tea. This is produced totally in the country.
Yeah.
Now, that curve tells you something. That if your products are increasing, okay, to the export market, a lot is coming out, then the prices are going down. So, but there are exceptional cases like 2019, where you find from 2018 to 2019, there was a decrease in the total tea produced from Kenya. But then, if you look at the general curve, it's still going up. So, but then in 2019, it was a weird case because quantities went down and prices also went down. So the price of tea has been going down simply because of the forces of demand and supply.
Let me
so that has hugely affected Limuru tea.
Let me challenge that. So I'm not to call it reasoning because now it would be like
okay.
Let me challenge that deduction, right?
Yeah.
That analysis. Now the thing is, one of the issues that we complain about, the tea farmers, Kenyan tea farmers complain about, is the fact that once the tea is exported and they reach the destinations of these countries to which they're exported, like especially the European markets, they're blended with other teas, and that reduces the quality
because Kenya tea is
superior, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think that they have to blend it not just because of the taste? Why? It's because of the quantity, not the quality.
Yeah.
Right. So if they have to blend it to increase the quantity, right? Then it means we are not overproducing. There's actually a deficit in the market.
Now that's a thought. It's a good thought, Easter. Kenyan tea is actually the best in quality.
Yeah.
Within the Eastern African space.
No.
Rwanda grows tea. No. Okay? So when it comes to quality of tea, it's not like we have defeated we are so much ahead of other guys. Sri Lanka, China, India, we are competing with them in terms of the quality of tea as well. So yes, I agree with Easter, but then you find that the issue here that I'm addressing is the issue of flooding the market, because that's what essentially has been happening. And and to give evidence to this, last year, the Minister of Agriculture, former governor of Meru County, Peter Munya, a cap was instituted, and $3, that's the minimum price that tea was auctioned at the Mombasa auction. And this was particularly for KTDA, for teas that come from small growers. And that cap, of course, we saw that in the last quarter. I think they did some lobbying and so many conversation with the players in the market, and it was removed. The $3 mark, because I think right now it's going for around 260 Kenya shillings, 250. That's where the price is placed per kilo
in the Mombasa auction.
In the Mombasa auction. So you find that flooding has made the prices go down, and this has hugely affected the performance of Limuru tea.
And I think not just Limuru tea, probably Sasini,
the general tea sector.
Exactly.
As you are making your point, I was doing a quick search on the internet about what the best tea in the world is.
What did you find?
You're right. We are not the best. Sri Lanka,
but when it comes to the Eastern African space, nobody can touch us.
In Africa?
Yeah.
In Africa, right?
Yeah. I mean, East Africa is where you get tea. I mean, if you go to West Africa, you can only drink cocoa and all those other things. Yeah.
Because I was about to interject you and say that Sri Lanka and all those other countries, they produce tea, but that's just volume, not quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then an interesting fact for our viewers to just note is that Kenya is the third largest producer of tea in the world. Of course, after China and I think India, if I'm not wrong. But then when it comes to export, Kenya is the number one exporter of tea.
So what does that tell you? How many exporters of tea do we have? Producers of tea, tea producing countries do we have? There are more than 10.
Yeah, there are many.
Right?
There are many.
So we come in at 3.
We come number 3. But then
so where are these 7 taking their tea to?
I think that's just country dynamics. I mean, look at the population of China. I mean, they have the capacity to consume probably everything that they produce. So yeah, I think there are other dynamics attached to that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So looking at Limuru tea, that's one of the issues that the global prices.
So largely the profit warning is attributed to the volume.
Yeah, it's attributed to that.
They actually said it's because of the reduction in volumes of the green leaf tea. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, they have. I think they have 2 brands.
There's green leaf tea and black tea.
Yeah, those are varieties.
Varieties, like a brand.
Yeah, they are varieties of tea.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm sitting as probably a private equity who wants to enter and into this company, I'm looking at the outlook for the future, and
you're giving a recommendation. In other words,
it's difficult for me. It's difficult for me because of one reason.
Yeah.
It's difficult because here is an issue that I don't have 100% control of. Yes, there are issues that obviously you can't have control of everything in a business, but this is a huge thing. So probably for me, I think light at the end of the tunnel would come if someone in the Kenyan tea space blinks fast. So let's say, God forbid, KTDA blinks fast and things.
By blinking, you mean?
I mean their quantities. Yeah, their quantities are cut, or James Finlay do that, so that the quantities that are produced from Kenya go down. And since Kenya has good quality of tea, now what will happen if there'll be more demand? So there'll be more demand. So that means the prices would go up. Yeah. So the outlook for this company would be better. But then that's a far-fetched idea. You have to agree with me. It's a far-fetched idea.
Because it won't work in the short term.
Yeah.
Because in the short term, quantity is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And it's great.
Employment, utilization of these resources, economies of scale, the more you produce, the better.
So now I'm thinking what we need to do here is to change the business model. Do you know what?
Diversification of the product portfolio.
That would be one. In fact, I was thinking about that.
How much do you guys know about it? Because I'm interested in knowing how much. How could you diversify?
No, I mean diversification. Okay, this is how I understand. You. I don't know how your thought is, but me, I'm saying is, let's grow something else other than tea.
Same way Kakuzi is doing avocados, macadamia. Macadamia is actually pretty recent product.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
the export market is doing very well for macadamia,
moving away from just a single line of tea
and moving into other products.
That's what diversification for a tea producing company would mean. That is moving away from one particular type of tea. What did you call it?
Varieties.
Green leaf and
now
black.
When you start introducing other product lines, other crops altogether, like cashew nuts, avocados,
macadamia,
you're avoiding the problem. The problem is you have tea.
No,
you need the prices in the export market to be.
So you're just reducing risk, Sidio.
You're just trying to venture into more.
Absolutely. That probably give you more returns.
Revenue generating business
so
lines.
In short, you're throwing in the towel with regards to improving your performance of tea in the tea business.
But where does that leave you?
Because you're like you're mini mesare. Let me just look for cashew nuts, avocados, and all this.
No, you're Easter. Let me ask you. Let me just use this example. Easter. Let's say you've invested in one stock at the exchange.
Yeah.
Single.
That is a single stock. One company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to put 500 million in one company.
Yeah. No.
The reason for diversification, for putting into other companies, and
Keegan,
particularly probably in different sectors,
Keegan,
is to reduce the risk.
That example doesn't
because today, if you look at the look
that
at
doesn't apply here because I'm not a decision maker.
Use the profit warning. Okay.
With the
use the profit warning.
I'd be a decision maker.
Now use the profit warning.
As an investor,
if they were planting,
I'm not a decision maker.
If half of their farms were in, let's say, planting avocados, there would be a difference in this profit warning that we are seeing today, compared to the case that we have today, where everything is tea.
Because looking at IGADs, I think they do tea and coffee.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Williamson tea, Capchoro tea, do they do?
I'm not 100% sure.
But in terms of their peers, Kakuzi is like well diversified. You know, avocados.
Yeah.
I think there was a time they used to do mangoes.
Academia. They also even do beef, some sort of beef farming.
Yeah, they do ranching.
So I think that's what we are trying to say with
Limuru.
To reduce the heat.
Okay, then because what I was seeing is that I thought you were having the conversation about the tea sector in Kenya generally.
No. We stock of the week, Limuru tea. Come back, fighter.
Okay.
Come back.
All right.
The fighter must come back. Now I'm looking at diversification 2.0.
Yeah.
I'm saying this. You see, Limuru tea, it has 282 hectares of land. Okay.
Thank you.
And if you look at how it's trading, it's trading on a discount because players in the market are actually discounting the worth of the land that Limuru tea has. Okay, this land was acquired a long time ago at very, very low prices compared to the market prices today. Okay, so I feel that the market is still pricing it at that, and it's okay that they are pricing it at that.
At acquisition.
At the acquisition prices. It's okay that they are pricing it at that because Limuru tea is not in the business of real estate. They are in the business of agriculture. But then let's go back to a company known as Real Vipingo.
It's still an asset.
And of course in their books they value it that.
It's a fixed asset, not just an inventory. What you're trying to do, for Vipingo, it's going to be inventory.
No, relax.
But the valuation is...
No, relax. Hold your horses. Right. So what happens is the market, yes, in their books, they revalue it, of course, with time. But then the market perception, okay, at the exchange, the forces of demand and supply, they look at it from the initial price simply because they're in a different sector than what we would want to perceive. But going back to a company known as Real Vipingo was in the business of sisal. Okay? They were in the business of sisal. They delisted in the exchange in 2015.
Yeah. Actually, Kakuzi, way back,
they
did do some sisal before ceasing to do it.
So if you look at Real Vipingo, they're in the business of real estate. They're in the business of sisal. And you would never thought at one point that, things would turn out and things would go the real estate way, okay? And at that point, when information came out that things would be going the real estate way, when the major shareholders, bought off the small shareholders, the stock went up, quadrupled. Stock price quadrupled. So for me, I'm looking at it this way. Let me just give my recommendations as we are winding up. My recommendation is this: hold, don't buy. But the day that you hear either of these two things, that one, either of the large tea players in Kenya blinks, by blinking, you know what I mean, going off or seriously cutting the output, buy. Number two, if you ever hear any conversation about Limuru tea going the real estate way, open your wallet. This is because there was a time that Limuru was an outcast of Nairobi. Today, Limuru is prime land.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned about that, and I've just remembered about the possibility of Limuru tea going the real estate way. Yeah. They have in their line, in their income, in their P&L, they have other incomes, and it's really rental income. I don't know from where, but it's rental income. So there's a likelihood there
that they might go there. No, I think you're just speculating.
No, there's a rental income line.
Oh, there's a rental
The
income. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are now preparing themselves going into real estate.
That would be too
but
far.
I think this business model is getting tired, Chief. Let's go real estate. That's exciting.
No, let me about the land. You mentioned it when you're introducing it, and I said I had something to say about it. So the non-current assets valuation is some sort of total of 90 million. About 90 million, right? And the size of the land they have. Well, you have a question?
No. Continue. I'm listening.
You're so ready.
No, I'm trying to process what you're saying.
The size of the land they have is 275 hectares.
200. In fact, it's 282
translates to around 280 acres,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you do the math. That comes to about 322,000 for a location that is 4 kilometers off Limuru from Limuru town.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that price makes sense. If you look at the acquisition cost,
Yeah.
in 1980s or the time you're talking about, 322 was just too high, right? If you look at current costs, market value, it's too low. The 322 is too low.
Yeah.
So, and I look at the audit report, and it's a qualified report. So I'm like, how did they go about the valuation of that?
So you think it's definitely on a discount?
No, it's on a discount. That's general,
Yeah.
given that it's in the agricultural sector.
But still
and
the
land is
valuation.
not in the core business.
Yeah.
But what valuation method have they used? And it does not make sense unless they tell me if we have two possibilities here, right?
Yeah.
Acquisition cost and market value.
Yeah.
Right. At acquisition, you can't tell me that at 1980 something, land in
We're actually
Limuru,
talking about
1
the
acre,
60s, 50s,
right there.
not even 80s. Yeah.
1 acre in Limuru was 322k.
Yeah,
That's
it
too
was.
much. And you can't tell me right now 1 acre in Limuru is 322k.
It's
So
not.
what pricing methodologies are they using?
Bonnie, what do you think?
It's an interesting. So it has to do with the valuation of the land.
Yeah.
And
It's either they don't own that much land or it is undervalued in the balance sheet. And I don't know why you'd want to undervalue, because you want to give your best picture out there.
Yeah.
So you might there's more incentive to overvalue than undervalue.
and they own 282 hectares of land.
Yeah. 279 hectares translates to around 280 acres.
282 acres.
Yeah.
He does have a point, on the bit of a mismatch on valuation.
So KPMG guys,
KPMG are the auditors.
yeah.
It's KPMG?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Also, if you look at the share price, I think there has been money that has been made in the past 1 year. They have a 52-week high of 350 and a 52-week low of 260. Today it's at 320. So for guys who made an entry at 260 and now at 320, they got something there. Yeah.
And you see, when you say guys, for just to paint a picture of how low the transaction in this counter is, the actual activity in this counter is, it was 100 shares traded as at close of business.
Volume
Traded, 100. That means one person either bought or sold the shares. One person in the entire market.
It's illiquid.
Yeah, it's
It's very illiquid. So if you buy it, you know who to sell it to.
Yeah,
But anyway, again, before I give my recommendation, again, my faith in it, my faith in this stock is very low, because you look at the income statement.
Yeah.
These people got, if you go by the financial results for the year ended December 2020, which is the latest, because they haven't released for the 2021.
Yeah.
Which was pretty interesting, because I didn't see an annual report for 2021.
Yeah, they haven't released it.
Yeah, not yet. I think it will be coming out in March.
Yeah, soon. I just know it's soon. So the thing is, they had gross loss. And that speaks to mismanagement in general finance terms.
Yeah.
It speaks to mismanagement. It shows that as a management of a company, you cannot manage your costs, your revenues to cover your costs, right? Because you've already made your loss even before you go to the market. Because what is gross profit? It's sales less revenue or less cost of sales, right? So you've used 20 shillings to produce this, which is your cost of sales, but you're selling it at 15 shillings. That's the only way you're going to make a gross loss.
But then here this is agriculture, this is farming. So there are other dynamics which come in. Okay, so let's say
and why aren't their competitors showing that?
No. Let's say, let me just walk you through that whole process, because I've been a farmer before, taking a serious beating. So the thing is, you start out.
Gross loss as well.
You start out. Let's say you're growing see, let's use tea for this example.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have tea, you'll probably sell at, kwanza, the first thing is farmers, farming is one of the most weird financial investments, because you go in, Boni, you plant something and you don't know the price at which you'll sell this thing.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Because it's not you determining the price.
Yeah.
If today this spectacle, you can say, I'm producing it.
Glasses. Spectacle is something I'm using.
I'll sell it at $500 or whatever. Okay? You've already identified the price even before you walk in. But then for agriculture, it's not like that. And then in agriculture, you find that today there's probably an uncertainty or something, the weather, something.
Yeah.
So you probably need a new probably herbicide or what,
Yeah.
There are some costs which arise that weren't planned, and sometimes it becomes so huge. So you combine those two factors, Easter, and in farming, it happens. It does.
Which maybe points towards the need for a commodity exchange.
Absolutely.
So that you can speculate on.
And I think we in the derivatives.
The futures price.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, we haven't gotten there.
Derivatives was launched in 2019.
We don't have commodities.
But commodities should be put there.
Yeah. Because so that you can actually hedge against the future price.
But Boni, kama muna contribute 10% peke yake huku Kenya retail people in ADC, stock yenyewe mwashinda.
It won't pick up.
so that would be something interesting to see.
You see, Keegan, just to add on to the your point.
Yeah.
Not really to add on it because I'm countering it. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
What you're saying is very valid, because if I put a seed into the ground, I expect that it's going. I don't know how much I'm going to sell it. I don't know the costs I'm going to incur.
You're walking in oblivion.
But why aren't the competitors or other players in this industry depicting the same elements? Are they an outlier, right? And even if that happened, if you look at I was trying to look at the retained earnings.
They do retain. They do retain earnings.
It's a huge figure, right?
Yeah.
What does that show you? It shows that the company has existed over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Right? So it shows they've been making profits. Yeah.
Sure.
For the retained earnings to have accumulated to that much, which again I have an issue with the receivables. It's just too much. But anyway, back to the conversation about retained earnings.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It shows they've been making profits all through, and that's even why the share is that expensive, I would say, because they've been making profits, they've been building demand, and so what determines the price of a stock? It's demand and supply.
Yeah.
So that's why the stock is as expensive as over 300 shillings.
Yeah, 320.
Right? 320 shillings.
Yeah.
So you'd wonder. I would ask myself, why is it this expensive yet the company isn't performing that well? It's because of its glory in the past, right? So why hasn't it been making profits and only make a gross loss in 2020? What happened?
From a share price history, I actually saw they hit highs of upwards of 550 back in 2019.
Yeah.
So the share price has almost been on a decline.
That's been on a decline, yeah.
So there's something.
I mean, even if you look back at around 207, they were doing around 460. So it has been high before.
For 16,207.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just before the financial.
Wow.
But then you look
last dividend must have been 2019, I think.
Yeah, 2019. They haven't. They didn't
Yeah.
issue in 2018. In 2020. I think they did around a dividend of, I think, a shilling.
2019.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. So they didn't pay in 2020.
1 shilling.
They didn't pay in 2020.
Yet I've given you. Okay. Go money.
But Dan, if Dan was here, Dan is a dividend guy.
No,
if
even
he
that
just
he would
sees
not
dividend,
agree to.
it'd be okay.
Even that you not
But
agree
of course, when you're looking from in terms of the peers,
Yeah.
you're better off buying
Safaricom,
Tea.
yeah.
Not just the peers within
guys in
the-
agriculture.
Yeah. So Williamson Tea and Kakuzi.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to give my definite answer, if you have the stock, sell it. Do not buy. Do not hold.
I think they haven't announced an interim dividend. For me,
Do they even have the capacity?
I don't expect
Okay,
a dividend to come through for the financial year.
For 2021 end of December.
Yeah, I don't see. Okay. No dividend. Bonnie, what's your recommendation? Buy, sell, hold, share?
I think I'll just go with what Easter said. If you're holding, sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, the counter is illiquid.
Yeah, it's liquid. I mean, you also, at the end of the day, we are here to make money. So you also have to look at your options. I mean, you're probably better off buying
Another stock.
another stock.
Safaricom.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not
And,
paid.
Safaricom tends to get touted a lot.
And
Yeah.
today I haven't mentioned
Kenya's
The lion.
the lion in the
Your
savannah.
Oh,
by
please. Your lion is
KCB.
caged.
Oh, KCB. They're looking
This guy, Oigara is paying him under the table.
No,
The cow market
Ogara is
is-
not paying
They're
him.
looking to buy another Tanzanian bank.
Yeah. So just as we wrap up, their plan of buying Bank ABC in Tanzania didn't go ahead as planned, simply because of I think about regulatory issues. But we have not lost faith, as our leader said.
ABC was in Kenya.
No.
Tanzania.
There's another
No,
bank.
there's an ABC in Kenya.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Is it the same one?
Not 100% sure.
Okay.
No.
Alright.
So I think they were doing business. I've forgotten the name of the company which holds that. I think it was something Mara.
Atlas Mara.
Atlas Mara.
Mara.
Yeah. So they were supposed to buy it from Atlas Mara. So that didn't go ahead as planned. But the lion is going back to the savannas of Tanzania.
Yeah,
The
so
Serengeti.
maybe before you close, earlier on you mentioned profit warnings.
Yeah.
And this week we saw CMA
Number.
speak about profit warnings.
Yes.
Issued a circular clarifying that the basis for a profit warning is profit after tax.
It's profit after tax.
Profit after
Oh,
tax.
And not
guys have been
PBT.
doing it on?
Does this stem from the issue of Kengen?
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
Ebu, give us more meat, man.
Yeah,
Give us more flesh.
so Kengen last year for their
And Mwango Capital fought.
we just highlighted what
You
was there.
fought Kengen.
We just highlighted what was there.
Okay.
Their earnings dropped by their earnings after tax, by the way,
Yeah.
about 93.5%.
Yeah.
But they didn't issue a profit warning.
That was when?
There was some. Their full year ends around June,
Yeah, it ends in June. It's government, yeah.
so I think they reported around October, November, if I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if I'm not sure.
they did. They did actually in
That's
November.
last year.
Yeah,
that's
last year.
Yeah.
Should be, I
Yeah.
should be selling. I
So
should be
the
selling
results,
that.
the results
Yeah,
came
so,
out. No. Don't sell. It's still a good stock.
93. Okay, I
No.
didn't know that.
It's because of a tax component. Let Bonnie
They
explain to
didn't
you.
make a loss.
Okay.
They didn't make a loss.
All right.
So earnings after tax just dropped by 93.5%. And from the regulations, if your earnings or if you're projecting earnings below 25%, then
Yeah.
you definitely should issue a profit warning.
Yeah.
But Kengen came out and said PBT, profit before tax,
Yeah.
was up by 7%.
Yeah.
Plus, also they had a huge income tax expense.
Yes, yes.
If I remember correctly.
Absolutely. There was
Yeah.
a in the previous financial year, they had been given there was a tax discounts, particularly, of course, there was that by the government of COVID, 25%.
corporate income tax.
Yeah, but then Kengen, what they normally have is that if they are launching a new power plant, they normally get tax rebates on that. Okay, because of the green energy, blah blah blah. So they normally get that. But then now in this financial year, where earnings after tax went down, they didn't launch a new power plant, so they didn't get the rebates that they normally get.
Yeah, and they didn't issue a profit warning. Yeah. So I'm guessing.
So was it a grey area ama CMA imebadilisha katiba?
If you ask me, I think
It was a grey area.
Centum
I'd
was
say
wrong.
It was a grey area.
Centum was wrong. As in, I think you need to issue a profit warning if your earnings are below 25%. Your
Yeah.
earnings after tax. Yeah.
So it's Centum or Kengen?
Kengen.
Kengen. So Kengen. Oh, sorry.
Kengen,
Yeah, it's Kengen.
Yeah, so this week we saw circular by CMA clarifying that the level for issuance of a profit.
So is there a penalty?
I think there was an article that said CMA would penalize them. I don't know how that is going. Yeah.
Rebecca Miano, you gotta pay up something.
Yeah, so
No, let's confirm that.
the level of
Confirm that
earnings,
on our
yeah.
Twitter handle.
Yeah, CMA made it clear that the level of earnings for profit warnings
Yeah.
will be, is and remains
Yeah,
25%.
25%
Yeah.
of PBT.
PAT.
Of PAT.
Yeah, after tax.
So Kengen were
you want to
considering
take us
PBT.
Because what Kengen was somewhat holding on to,
Yeah.
I think they actually issued a statement,
Yeah.
was their PBT.
They made up,
rose-
yeah,
rose
it was
by
an increase.
7%.
Yeah, so they didn't make a loss.
To them, they
Yeah.
didn't see the need to issue a
So this
profit
actually
warning.
sets a precedence. So guys, from today, just know that we are looking at PAT and not PBT. If you look at PBT, you're gonna be
It
penalized.
also translates to losses. That is, if you made a loss in a previous
Oh, yeah,
preceding year,
yeah.
and you expect the losses to increase by more than 25%, 25 or more percent, then you need to also issue a profit warning.
Absolutely.
It's not just on profit
And
reduction.
maybe what do you guys think of phrasing of profit warnings in this market? Because some would say profit warning announcement, some will say statement to shareholders. As in, I'm thinking a
Has
profit warning
IFRC hasn't taken care of that?
I think it's a public announcement, so it shouldn't.
Is that under the scope of IFRS?
It shouldn't necessarily be narrowed down to shareholders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
No, but if it's a listed company, which is actually the only caliber of companies required to issue the statements,
so it
they
should,
have to, it will be public anyway. So whether or not they mention the
So it's just the way it naming
think
it.
it's
because now they'll
entitlement.
have to say it's either stakeholders or they say shareholders and regulators.
So
and
what they do is
government.
that wanna feature white when
I
there's a
think
loss.
it's just most transparent when you clearly say profit warning announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Statement to shareholders, cautionary statement.
Oh, they're just trying to hide things
Yeah,
under the banner.
Yeah, under the banner.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying.
So yes, ordinarily you'd see the
yeah,
shareholder,
we
then
need-
you'll be like, I'm not a shareholder.
We
so
need
keep
to
it.
wrap up. We need to wrap up. So thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Boni, for joining us. I hope you can find time to join us in more episodes.
I will try and find some time.
Oh, fantastic.
Asante sana.
Great.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure having you here. Shout out to Mwango Capital once again. Thank you so much, viewers and listeners who have been with us for a little over an hour and a half. Thank you so much. As always, you can find us on Twitter at marketmap_KE, on LinkedIn, Kenya's Market Map, Twitter, YouTube, Kenya's Market Map. Hey, you, click there, subscribe, like, share. Sawa sawa. Thank you so much. And until next time, remember, it's nothing personal. It's just business.
It's business.
Cheers. Stay safe.